bestowed from the heavens above, by the benevolence of the goddess of prosperity and the strength of King Ptah. A remarkable prince was destined to rule the glorious land of the Achaemenid Empire. Legend says, he was mightier than the great woolly mammoth, braver than the roaring lion, a military strategist like no other. From the mountain of a great legacy, Jahangir carved himself a statue of an even greater reality. His reputation was divine among the people for his tolerance and his acceptance of various cultures. With the dignity of a god, Jahangir held the future of his empire in the palm of his hand. Many have seen him and admired him for his strategy and dignity, but their knowledge only extends so far. They think he is great, but I will tell the truth. I will reveal all, and he is greater. I have known all, seen all, felt all, and soon you shall too. And like most things spectacular, it started with a dream. One night, Jahangir woke in a cold sweat. In an instant, he remembered the dream that had startled him so. In his dream, he recalled looking into a room where his brother Naveed and his brother's wife were talking in secret.
"Tomorrow I shall slay my brother,"
Naveed had said.
"and soon enough it will be I who will rule as king."
Jahangir remembered the sequence vividly, his heart racing at the thought of his unfortunate destiny. The more he thought of his dream, the more his anger grew and grew. Alas, Jahangir decided he had to do something about it. Quickly, he left his room and walked down the dark halls of the palace, without a sound to his footsteps. Jahangir approached his brother's chambers. He sent the guards away, and they left without a word. Silently, he opened the door and approached his brother's bed. With one motion too quick for the mortal eye, he slit Naveed's throat with a dagger, and with that, he left the room. When dawn broke, Jahangir was sitting in the garden outside the palace walls, looking into the green and unspeakable luxury. Never before had he felt such a sickness in his heart. He held the stem of one purple flower and watched as it wilted and died before his eyes. When he ran back to the palace to where his brother lay lifeless, he found his father weeping before the body of his dead son. King Ptah pulled Jahangir close and cried,
"My son, my glorious son, look at this tragedy. Who could have done such a horrible deed?"
"It is I who slew my brother,"
Jahangir confessed. His father then sent him out of the room and didn't leave the room for 7 days and 7 nights' time to grieve. When he finally came out, Jahangir explained why he'd killed his brother.
"You trusted an untrustworthy fantasy,"
said his father.
"You acted on your impulse. You sacrificed your control to your blind ambition rather than carrying out your ambition thoughtfully. These are not the characteristics of a good king."
"I agree, father. Send me away. Make me pay for my crimes."
So his father banished him from Persepolis. As Jahangir left Persepolis, he saw the beautiful bas-reliefs of those who reigned before him. Although he felt pity for himself, he did not turn around. He sent him away with the order that he mustn't return until he has completed 3 impossible tasks.
First, you must swallow your pride and make amends with a mortal enemy. Second, you must learn control and how to tame your impulses. Third, you must redeem your own actions. Only then you can learn to control, tolerate, and show mercy to an empire.
So Jahangir left Persepolis and vowed not to return until he completed his tasks. He journeyed down the royal road, walking for 7 days and 7 nights' time, until he came upon a battle on the road. An army of 100 men were attacking civilians, with large horses and blazing torches.
"It is the men of the West,"
Jahangir thought grimly.
"I shall not let these Greeks destroy my nation."
So Jahangir took his sword and ran at the leader of the army, jumped, and swung at his head, cutting it clean off his shoulders. Single-handedly, he fought the army. 20 men came at him at a time, but his sword cut through the men with a graceful ease. He cut and slashed until 99 men were dead or wounded, but one escaped and ran into the forest. Jahangir followed him and found him bleeding from his chest, gripping his sword in the air. Before him was a monster, 50 feet tall, with the body of a lion and the head of a serpent. When it opened its mouth to snarl, its teeth were the size of a man's forearm. Jahangir drew his sword again and leapt into the air. With a single swing, he cut its head straight off. The monster fell limp, leaving Jahangir gripping onto a tree branch for dear life. When Jahangir climbed down from the tree, he ran to his enemy. He looked to the little sky he could see and prayed,
"Mother Goddess of Prosperity, please heal this man, my enemy."
The wound on the man's neck healed, and Jahangir knew his mother had answered his prayers. The man looked up upon Jahangir with shock.
"You saved my life. Why? Tell me, what is your name?"
"I am Prince Jahangir, and I saved you because I must learn to swallow my pride."
You are a great warrior, Prince Jahangir. I am Behruz. What is it you seek?
I seek to find control and morality in myself, so that I may rule my empire the same way.
I would be honored to join you on your quest.
And so the man, Behruz, and Jahangir embraced as brothers.
For 7 days and 7 nights' time, Jahangir and Behruz journeyed through the treacherous forest where no light seemed to seep through and creatures of nightmares dwelled. The trees towered above them like castles of wood, never ending and eventually vanishing into the unknown darkness.
Upon the 8th day, the pair saw a light ahead of them.
This is an odd sight, Your Highness,
said Behruz.
It truly is, my friend,
replied Jahangir.
I must say, I have never seen such a beauty in all of Persia.
But what Behruz was speaking of was not what stopped Jahangir in his tracks. What lay before them was a young maiden perched on a pale rock, her luscious black hair swept over one shoulder. Scantily clad and smiling seductively, she twirled a strand of hair in her finger. When her eyes met Jahangir's, he lost himself in their endlessness.
Why, beautiful maiden, what is your name?
Jahangir asked her. Giggling, the maiden replied, I'm Gobahar, and you are?
I am Prince Jahangir,
roared Jahangir proudly.
Slayer of the lion snake, Prince of Persia, soon to be King of Persia.
But, Your Majesty,
said Behruz sarcastically,
you are a prince no longer. Your father has banished you for killing your— Ah!
Jahangir kicked Behruz in the shin and glared at him briefly. Then his attention returned to the maiden.
Gulbahar, your name is as lovely as your face,
exclaimed Jahangir.
Come with me to my palace, and you shall become my wife.
Gulbahar smiled at that, but she shook her head. My dear Jahangir, many men have offered me similar things in my life. First, you must prove yourself worthy to be my husband.
Fine, Gulbahar. I shall go and slay the majestic purple lion, and give you its radiant pelt to match the hue of your alluring eyes.
Jahangir said. Bring me the skin of this lion, and I will be yours forever, cried Gulbahar. And with that, Jahangir and Behruz went to slay the lion. With one arrow from Jahangir, the beast fell. Together they skinned the lion, and together they carried it to Gulbahar, who seemed pleasantly surprised. O mighty Jahangir, you have proven yourself worthy of my love. Follow me to my palace, and we shall be together forever. Smiling, Jahangir followed the beautiful maiden. Behruz hesitantly tapped his companion on the shoulder, but Jahangir ignored him. If he could not be the ruler of a beautiful kingdom, at least he would have a beautiful wife. Suddenly, Jahangir heard a voice in his mind.
Jahangir,
said the voice. Unsure of what it was, Jahangir listened again.
Jahangir,
it was his mother, the goddess of prosperity.
My son,
said the voice.
You have been so easily deceived. She is not what she seems, for beneath her mask of beauty lies a growing evil. Look again.
When Jahangir looked, he wished he had not. What had once been a beautiful maiden was now a black creature of darkness with the head of a lizard and the body of a pig.
You are a monster,
cried Jahangir. I am known as the Dream Witch, sneered the beast. For I have planted dreams of terror and deceit in many minds.
You are the one who made me kill my brother,
Jahangir accused.
Oh, actually, that one was not a lie. You will die, your brother being the reason, and he shall rule. You cannot escape your fate, despicable mortal.
You are the reason for his death.
The witch smiled, showing off blood-stained teeth. With a snarl, Jahangir pointed his sword at her chest.
You must pay for your crimes, witch,
Jahangir said.
I should have known from the state by your impurity. I will let you live if you join us on our journey and serve me till the end of my days.
Never, hissed the witch. Never will I serve scum princes such as you.
Then you must pay the price. I am Prince Jahangir, and I shall rid you, as I must learn to tame my impulses. You have refused your chances for redemption, and you must die.
And with those words, Jahangir pierced the heart of the witch, and with one deafening screech, she fell to the ground.
My brother was innocent. There is only one way to fulfill my final task and forgive myself. Behruz, I shall bring my brother back from the depths of hell.
This is a great task, but I will fight by you if it takes a lifetime to reach.
Do not fret,
Jahangir replied.
We will most likely return in 7 days and 7 nights' time.
Together, they walked across 10,000 miles of desert. They marched barefoot on the scorching sand through the blinding, dusty wind until, in 7 days and 7 nights' time, they reached the entrance of hell. As they walked inside, vipers with long, poisonous fangs descended on them. Jahangir took out his sword and slashed at them, and they soon fell dead in front of them. Unexpectedly, a snake attacks Jahangir from behind, digging its fangs into his back. Jahangir cried out in agony. Jahangir then turned around, feeling drunk from the poison coursing through his veins. He wrapped his fingers around the thick neck of the snake and strangled it to death. He then fell to the ground and called out to his companion.
Oh, Beiruz, the pain I am in. I have never felt so much pain. I cannot go on.
Beiruz stared Jahangir in the eye. Your Majesty, I have not come all this way with you to have you die. You must continue your journey, for your brother is so nearby. He offered a hand and helped Jahangir to his feet. And though he was experiencing unthinkable pain, Jahangir agreed to continue. They progressed deeper into hell, along a path of bones and skulls, into the black, fiery depths. In 7 days and 7 nights' time, Jahangir found Naveed. Though he looked skinny and weak, his face lit up at the sight of his brother, and they embraced in joy.
Oh, brother, I have come to rescue you from this torturous place. We will return back home, and you will enjoy life once more in our great palace of beauty.
Jahangir said.
Jahangir, I will return with you. I would like to see my dear father again, and would like to hold my wife in my embrace, and enjoy all of life's luxury. Let us go, let us return.
Naveed replied. Together as three, they returned up to the earth where they trekked back home. While Jahangir and Beiruz were smiling from ear to ear, Naveed was constantly turning to look behind him, a worried expression upon his face.
What troubles you, my dear brother?
Asked Jahangir.
Are you not delighted to return home?
Oh, I am delighted for sure, but I am worried. It is against the rule of the heavens to bring someone back from hell. I fear what is to come,
said Naveed, taking another panicked look behind him.
Oh, brother, how you worry,
cried Jahangir.
I promise you, all the deadliest of monsters have been slain, all the wickedest storms have been lived through. Do not fear.
And so they exited hell and began their journey back home. In 7 days and 7 nights' time, they reached Persepolis. When they entered the city, the people cheered, happy to see both their princes back home safe.
Long live Jahangir!
They chanted.
I am pleased with you.
The King Ptahcha said to Jahangir, a content smile on his face.
Have you learned control? Have you learned tolerance for your enemies? Have you forgiven yourself?
I think so, father.
Jahangir replied, though not quite sure of himself. Jahangir bowed and left his father's presence and went to the gardens. He saw the purple flower that had wilted in his hand lying on the ground. He picked it up and stared at it, but it did not bloom once again. The flower was still lifeless.
Something still doesn't feel right, Beiruz,
Jahangir said to his companion. A scream from the street startled Jahangir.
Help! Help us, please! Help!
Voices called to him. Jahangir unsheathed his sword and ran to the cries, where he saw a winding serpent dragon destroying the buildings and killing people.
Stop, you monster!
Jahangir called to the beast.
I am Prince Jahangir, son of King Ptahcha, and heir to the throne. How dare you destroy my city?
Jahangir, I'm Ejas, guardian of the underworld, and you have stolen what is not yours. Naveed is no longer your brother. He belongs to Amini, god of the underworld. Return him, and I shall leave you and your city alone.
You shall not have my Naveed. He is still my brother, and I have crossed many leagues to return him to where he belongs.
Death must pay for the death stolen. Someone must die.
Then it shall be you who dies, Ejas,
Jahangir said, holding up his sword.
You are a bold man, Jahangir. If I am to win, I will take you with me. I will destroy all 23 satrapies.
Ejas replied.
And if I win, you shall leave our empire alone.
Beiruz turned to him and said, Your Highness, my best friend, I wish you every luck in defeating your final foe.
This is not my final foe, Beiruz. My final foe will always be myself, the threat of self-destruction from excessive power. I fear it is these qualities that would have been the downfall of our empire.
And so the battle began. Jahangir swung his mighty sword, slicing through the scales of the Guardian. Ejas snapped at Jahangir with long, sharp teeth. They fought for 7 days and 7 nights' time until finally Ajas sunk his teeth into Jahangir's stomach. At the same time, Jahangir sliced off the head of Ajas and the monster perished. Jahangir lay on the ground, his stomach bleeding. Naveed and Behruz ran to Jahangir to comfort him as he died slowly.
Behruz, please, stand by my brother as you have done for me so dedicatedly. Serve him and protect him when he becomes king, for I will never be able to rule.
Jahangir said to his companion.
Naveed, tell our father. Tell him that I have completed the third task. Also, bury me in Pasargadae, where Cyrus, king of king, lies.
He then looked to the sky and smiled.
I have finally forgiven myself, and I have finally been redeemed.
Jahangir then closed his eyes and took one last shuddering breath.
Oh, Behruz, how has this happened? How has my dear brother died like this? Tell me why this has happened.
Naveed cried in anguish. Behruz felt a devastating sadness for the young prince. Naveed was confused, for he had not been with Jahangir during his life-threatening quest. He placed a sympathetic hand on his shoulder. As promised, Jahangir was buried in Persepolis with his great ancestor, Cyrus the Great. Once King Ptahcha fell in battle, Naveed claimed the throne. And as for Behruz, well, he carried on the tale of Jahangir, keeping his legacy alive through his epic stories of Jahangir fighting the lying dream witch, slicing the heads off the ferocious snakes of the House of Lies. He tells of the biggest mistake Jahangir made, of killing his brother in an attempt to escape his unescapable destiny. Each day is like any other. I stretch out my arms, I have a long story to tell. There was once a mighty prince named Jahangir, and his story started with a dream that led to a remarkable string of events. Somewhere along the way, I, Behruz, entered his life. In the end, I was the only one left to tell his story. And that is what I shall do for you today. Come one, come all, for this is the epic tale of Jahangir.